Code monkey, get up, get coffee. Code monkey, go to job. Code monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino Dudes? It's me, the Media Raptor, and I got nothing. Yeah, this movie... Yeah, I got nothing. The Candy Witch. Some 2019 or 2020 horror movie. This was rough. So I was on iTunes last night trying to find something to watch, because really... I don't know, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should watch one of the new DC animated movies. Maybe I should watch, like... I don't know, I wanted a horror. So I went into iTunes, dug around for a bit, found this, thought it looked interesting. I should have looked at IMDb first. I rented it, and man, it was just bad. When I first finished watching it, I kind of thought felt like doing this whole big, like, one of those angry reviews when I pretend it's like the worst thing ever, and oh, it's so horrible. And I was gonna do that. But the second I sat down, I just lost everything. This movie just drained the life out of me. So let's talk about it. It's supposedly this horror movie about this witch, so to say, or angered spirit who is haunting this family, and they call in these two paranormal investigators to try and figure out, hey, what is this thing, and can you get rid of it for us, and is there a good plot here? To which the answer is demon, no, and definitely not. So, this movie is super cliched. Like, we have all sorts of stuff, like the flashlight cutting out, the no cell service, the going off alone at night even though it'll get you killed, the cliche of, oh, well, you know, it's a spirit back for revenge, but you won't tell us what happened, and... The one thing it did have that I kind of liked was the idea that it's another story with an innocent victim who becomes the villain. I've always kind of liked that idea because I thought you could do some really cool stories with it. Like, for example, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake hinted at it. Sadly, it didn't follow through because I think that would have been really cool if Freddy Krueger was, innocent in that movie. Granted, I like him more as a villain, but that's not important. I'm talking about a much better movie, including the remake is even much better than this. This movie is an hour and a half, and I felt that hour and a half. It was just frustrating to sit through, because multiple times I looked at this movie and thought, there's potential there. Or, another rewrite, and this could have been pretty cool. Or, hey, Crypt TV, make this into something. Because at the end of the day, it really feels like this could be a cool character with this whole Candy Witch idea, but this movie is not the way to do that. So, in an hour and 34 minutes, we have maybe 20 minutes that actually is dedicated to the Candy Witch proper. The rest of it is just standing around, walking around, staring at things, or talking about pointless stuff. None of the characters in this movie have any real depth or personality beside, like, rich person, paranormal investigator, hot chick, the crazy lady, neighbor, and rich family. Like, that's it. The thing is, though, at the very beginning, I remember thinking, oh, what do you know? I don't hate these characters within the first 10 seconds. Maybe this movie will actually have some decent characters. Maybe you could build up a bit of a mystery or sympathy, or maybe you could even do a good emotional gut punch when it turns out that maybe they're not the good guys. I didn't want them dead within the first 10 seconds, but within the first 10 minutes is another story. Yeah, this movie was just bad. it really feels like this is somebody's first movie, and it kind of feels like they fell into a lot of trappings of, oh, well, if we build atmosphere, it will kind of it'll make up for the lack of kills. Yeah, but you didn't follow through all the way. A number of times, I will give them credit, they did have good atmosphere. They did have some genuinely kind of freaky scenes, but they never followed through with it. So you were left thinking, oh wait, that's it? Or, oh, it ends with a jump scare instead of something scary or gory or stuff like that. Because again, I'd like to say, this is a cool idea. This vengeful spirit who was a kind-hearted woman, and the whole candy witch thing being a reference to the fact that everyone she kills with candy in some way, be it drowning somebody in boiling chocolate, or literally ripping their intestines open and then stuffing candy inside and stitching them back up. I will not lie, the last 15 minutes or so are actually pretty good. They don't make this movie worth watching, but the last few minutes, they just kind of decide, screw it, let's just go balls to the walls. In more ways than one, I'll talk about that in a second. And it is pretty entertaining because it just kind of stops trying to be a serious movie and goes, hey, look, we have some goofy over-the-top gore. Great. If that was the whole movie, it probably would have been a lot better. Because this movie is at least competently shot. Like I said, there is some competently done atmosphere. Some of the scares are kind of unsettling. A few times I felt chills going down my spine. Maybe that's because I was also playing Road to Nowhere and the Insane trilogy on my Switch, and the paranoia of that level is enough to terrify anybody. But that's about it. Really, that's had a very amateurish feel in the script and a very amateurish feel in the acting. I looked at the first three actors. The main actor in this, John Calloway, he's more known for stunts, and it kind of shows. He plays this psychic investigator who's got some sort of psychic power. What that power is, they never really say, aside from the fact that this power may or may not have killed his dad, which they never really explain what that was about either. And he hears a high-pitched ringing when he uses it or something. Again, they don't really say what any of this means. Abby Casson-Thompson, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She has been in, what I'm going to assume, she's been in 4 movies. And at least 3 of them, from what I can tell, are by the same company. She's probably the most lively actor in this entire movie. And Kate Lush, the Candy Witch herself. She's been in a number of films, but a lot of them look to be either rip-offs or, just cheap horror films. But to her credit, she was actually pretty creepy in this, and that has to do with the makeup. Which, yes, I will give them credit. The makeup and the special effects, that wasn't CG, are very well done. The makeup is creepy and unsettling. The gore is surprisingly decent. I've always kind of liked the kill, sort of when they carve something into someone's flesh, in this case writing liar in their skin a bunch of times. I think it looked really good. But as for the whole Candy Witch thing, I'm going to jump back to acting for a second. Something that I did love about this movie, Sean C. Phillips shows up briefly as a vlogger, and he has about 3 lines. And one thing he mentions is that the Candy Witch kills people with candy canes. She does this twice in the entire movie. Maybe a 3rd time, and almost a 4th time, but she's stopped. So one time, she just beats someone to death after cutting their intestines open and stuffing candy in, like I said, which actually was a pretty decent effect. The practical gore, I will give them credit, looks great. But the other time, she doesn't kill him on screen, but she does cut his dick off. And his balls. At least that's what is implied, and it kind of makes sense in context, but it's also pretty disgusting. And it kind of feels like, look, if you were going to do that, at least go all the way. Like, again, it feels like they backed down, maybe because the actor wasn't comfortable with it, maybe they didn't have the budget to use certain prosthetics, maybe they just didn't want to film it. I get it, but when you go so far, if you don't go all the way with it, it's not going to be as impressive as if you went all the way with it. I'm not saying I want to see this, because really I don't, but hey, if you're going to do it, do it. Do it. Kill him. Kill him now. Sorry, I've been on prequel memes a lot recently. So, it's kind of weird because this movie is competently made. The audio mixing is fine, the camera work is fine, the lighting is pretty decent at times. The practical effects are pretty good, but the CG effects are horrible. And there are a few practical effects that do look pretty bad, but I kind of think really, for the budget this thing most likely had, it was the best they could do, so I won't fault them on that. But at the end of the day, I can't recommend this movie. I'm giving it 2 Raptor Claws out of 4 for quality and 1.5 for entertainment. So at the end, I only give it 1.5 Raptor Claws out of 4. It really was a cool concept, and maybe if it was a short film or a Crypt TV series, it would have been a lot better because they would have been able to just kind of focus on the cool stuff. Or maybe if they had another few rewrites, or maybe if they had more of an idea written down. Either way, I do hope the people that made this go on to find success because they do have some talent. This is just not the movie to show it. Like I said, it's on iTunes, and even then, if it was like a $2 rental, I'd probably feel better, but it was $4, so I do kind of feel like, yeah, that was $4 wasted. And look, I know that sounds kind of harsh, but I'm a film critic, what do you expect? Okay, not really, but I talk about movies, so shut up. Sorry, that was mean. I really appreciate that you're here. Okay, what was I talking? Okay, whatever. Look, that's my thoughts. The movie's bad. Could have been a lot better. If you got any recommendations for a good horror movie, let me know down below that isn't just like Saw or Friday the 13th. I'm looking for something else. I've seen stuff like Suspiria and... what was that one? The Mother, Hereditary, Midsommar. Yeah, I'm looking for something more like that, if you can recommend a good one. And that's all the time I got for this episode, though. So until next time, this has been the Media Raptor. As always, saying keep cool, and I'll see all you dino dudes around. Later. San Diego Comic-Con cover.